Hello and welcome to Giant Mess, a super sloppy sports and entertainment podcast that's hosted by a giant mess. That's me, the real cinch, Neal Lynch. I'm a former fourth-string college quarterback and mediocre middle relief pitcher who earned himself a film and media studies degree. And now I'm a single dad who loves to talk Giants football, Mets baseball, movies, TV, and comedy. Like to mix in some life lessons and funny stories along the way. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about my trip down to South Kakalaka for spring break and Easter. Was it as heartbreaking as last spring break? Stay tuned to find out. So without further ado, let's get it out of the way. As far as spring break down South Carolina, coming raise up the week leading up to Easter, there's a couple points that we can cover. One, bullying. It sucks, and it's still happening. How? I don't know. Still happening. There was a health scare. There was a fishing trip. Might hold the world record for longest ever in human history. And there was a birthday party. So let's dive into the spring break week and Easter trip down to South Carolina. Sunday, the Sunday before Easter Sunday, took the long drive down. A lot of long lines, a lot of like, I don't know if I feel like this has become just commonplace. It's just like, there's like so many cash registers. There's just so many points of contact and like points of sale and only so many humans to run those points of sale. There's just no, like, you can't exchange currency for goods and services at a lot of brick and mortar places anymore. It's like, it happened this past Friday. It happened on the way down to South Carolina, where it's just lines of people just waiting for a human to do what that person who's waiting in line could do. Am I asking for people to get fired? No. But like, I don't know, I always feel like there's a better way. Like, we went to Wendy's, which is technically fast food, and I think I could have been sat at a steakhouse and had a 4-course meal and been out of there before I got my spicy chicken sandwich with a Frosty at this Wendy's. It was, it's just, everyone's understaffed. Everyone. I don't know. I guess I get it. People don't want to do these jobs. And the people that do the jobs are severely underpaid. I get it. But I don't know. It's coming. I feel like in the next 5 to 10 years, it's coming, where it's just like you go in, screen, and there's just, you don't need a person to fetch the thing, to put it in the bag, to hand you the bag. And I know I've said, it's not great for a lot of people because they're out of jobs. They're not going to be earning any income. But I also think that will bring down the pricing. Like, it has to bring down the prices, because you're not having to pay a person that has to depend on that money to survive. But then that person doesn't have that money to survive. So what does that person do? So, what a conundrum. But yeah, the slowest Wendy's ever. And it's not their fault. It's the people who are working there. It's not their fault. Because like, normally back in the day, you'd have this person on the register, this person on the fries, this person on the burger, this person on the drive-thru. And instead, it's like this person is doing the register, the drive-thru, the fries, the burgers. It's just like, I was watching and I was just like, did everyone call out sick? What the fuck happened here? So, tough. But so drove down Sunday. The next day, Monday, my brother-in-law and sister have decided to update the porch on their house, which, I guess it's pretty reasonable. I didn't see any problems with the porch. I thought the porch was pretty solid, but they want to make some updates to it. And I guess if you have the money, why not increase the value of your house, right, and your property? So they decided the week that my daughter and I went down there to update the porch, which means taking out the railings, which means that my mother, who is severely handicapped and needs railings, like that's just like imperative for her to get around, is to have a railing. The railings are gone. And so trying to figure out how to get my mother 50 feet to the other house. Like she lives in the mother-in-law suite, and it's just a short little walk, but when you are in the condition that she's in, that's like feels like a marathon. I get it. And so we had to get a little creative with how to get her from her mother-in-law suite to the main house, seeing as there are no railings. And of course, my brother-in-law hired his cousin to come and do the porch for the entire week that I was there, which means he shows up at like the ass crack of dawn, 7, 8 a.m., which is like off limits for me. Okay. No bueno. And then works all throughout the day. And what's rich about that is that he has not been back since that week. He worked the entire week, no railing. So I'm with my mom, and my mom is pissed because it's like they pick this week when it's like I usually make the most trips to the main house, and they picked this week to do the work. And so now I can't really get over there. So what we would do is we would get her in the car and drive down the long ass gravel driveway onto the main road, into the long ass driveway where the main house is, and then have to open the garage door because this, I guess the steps, that side door are too intense in 10 cities. But the garage is just minefield of all kinds of obstacles and challenges that she will struggle to get through. So that was fun, having to navigate that. And my brother-in-law's cousin has not been back since that week. And I guarantee that when my daughter and I go down there the first week in August, he's going to show up and do work the entire time. I get to wake up at 7 a.m. during a time where it's like I'm trying to get my hours in, trying to log some dreams. Okay. I'm behind on my quota of dreams. And so I need to up the ante on the dreams, and I'm going to be going deficit down there because he's just working on this porch that will never be finished. So I tried to help out as best I could. I, went around picking up branches around the yard. It's like the least I could do. I offered to pick up the kids at school because the kids in South Carolina, they did not hop off that week. My daughter did. That's why we went down. But like the South Carolina got to do it their own way. Freedom and all, freedom. So went with my mom to pick up, with my daughter, to pick up my oldest nephew, my niece. When we picked up my niece, she said that the kids are being mean to her and calling her gay because she hangs out with girls. Was just turning 12. She's a tween. I think about when I was 11 or 12. It's like, yeah, I got a little excited when I did a little slow dance with a girl and I thought I was in love, and I told my dad, and he was like, okay, you're a virgin. Okay. So, what? Okay. You're 11 or 12 and you're gay because you hang out with your friends. And my mom was flabbergasted by that. She was just like, I didn't even know what gay meant when I was that age. And I was like, you didn't know what gay meant? Like, all right, my mom was born in 48. Sorry to dox your mom, but 48. When she was 11 or 12, that would be 1959 or 1960. You didn't know what gay meant? Like, okay. She's like, well, there was a gentleman who lived down the street who was a little fancy for my tastes. He'd always wear, he was fancy, and he would always wear like tight pants. He was like, and we knew that he was a homosexual. I was like, wait, so you know what a homosexual was, but you didn't know what gay was? She's like, well, that's just not how it happened. Like, we just didn't know. And I'm like, Mom, when I was 8, I had kids at school calling me an agate fae. The F word, the other F word. Not that F word, the other F word. A bundle of twigs, if you will, a bundle of sticks. I had so many kids calling me that name in 8th grade, in 3rd grade when I was 8. In 3rd grade, when I was 8, I had other kids calling me agate fae, bundle of twigs, nonstop. She's like, oh, well, yeah. And I'm like, what do you mean, oh, well, yeah? You are getting upset that in the year 2025, year of our Lord, AD, Anno Domini, your granddaughter, who's turning 12, is being called gay because she just hangs out with her friends who are predominantly girls, or all girls. Yet in 1988-89, your son was being called a bundle of twigs. And you're like, oh, well, yeah. Well, because you were. I mean, you were total agate fae. You were just a total ag fae. You were a total bundle of twigs, dude. For sure. Like, all right, Mom. Cool. I'm not like, yes, it's wrong and it's like, I don't know. But so it's just insane that kid, like, why, dude? Why? I mean, it's one thing if, there's been plenty of times where, kids rib each other and tease each other or whatever. I get it. And a lot of times that was happening with me where it's being, you're joking, whatever. But then there are other times where it's like, whoa, there, you put a lot of emphasis on that syllable, dude. There's a lot of weight behind what you just said. So, it's just ridiculous. Why? So we went to Wendy's, not a slow Wendy's, and we got Frosties. Got a free Frosty with a card that my niece received for getting good grades. Which, what the F, man? That exists? I feel like I got plenty of good grades. I never got a free Frosty and shit, man. Come on. We ended up going to IGA, KJ's Market, to get some groceries, and me and my oldest nephew decided to go in because we're like, we'll be super quick. My oldest nephew, he knows the lay of the land. He knows how to get around. He knows where everything is. We'll be in and out in a jiff. But then we had to pee, so we had to pee first. So we pee, and we found everything fairly quickly. I mean, there's a lot, and here's the thing, and maybe this is just me. It probably is just me. But when a lady gives a gentleman a grocery list, how many phone calls does that grocery list provided by the lady generate? No less than 3 calls. it's because the lady gives you a grocery list. You're like, okay, here's the thing. And then you look and there's a dozen varieties or versions of that thing. What the fuck am I supposed to get? And even when there's a little degree of specificity to the list, as in you need to get this brand with this thing and it has no thing. And you're like, oh, wow, I praise Allah. I'm so happy that you gave me some detail and specificity for this item. And then you go to where the item is and there's 3 items like that. And each one has just a little bit of difference between them. And you're like, God damn it. She was so detailed and was emphatic about this. And I still have to make a choice. I still have to give her a call and be like, well, you said it's the kind of French onion, it's an onion soup mix, but non-beef flavored, but with the chicken. So there were like minor hiccups. We go to the self-checkout because it was only like a handful of things. And my oldest nephew wants to scan. He's at that age, he's 8, where he like wants to do things on his own, which is great. And so he tries to scan it. He understands that we got 2 of the same item. And normally, if you go to the regular checkout and you give the person the items, they do what you would think they would do, which is they scan. If you have 6 of the same thing, they just scan the one thing 6 times. Boop, 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 boop. Done. So he tries to do that at the self-checkout. He's like, we have 2 of these things. I don't need to scan each one. I'll just scan the same thing twice. Boop, boop. And of course, that sets off all kinds of alarms. Like, they lock down the grocery store. There's sirens. There's a laser show. There's fog. It's like a scene out of The Mist. Might be aliens outside. We're not sure. And so they have to call a manager over. And the manager is like grilling me and the oldest nephew, like, what'd you do? What happened? Why is this happening? What's going on? And it's just like, this feels like a you problem. We just did what any normal person, logical person would do. Like, he basically took this, he scanned it twice because we have 2 of them. And she's like, oh, you can't do that. And I'm like, okay, how am I supposed to know that? Because any other time that we go to the regular checkout, your register cashier would do the same thing that he did. So he got super frustrated and upset. And I was like, I feel you, dog. Like, I get it. But like, this is just how things work. We go out. She finally gets it worked out. We leave. We get in the car. And he's like, oh, slaps his forehead. I forgot my Frosty. So we have to go back in. Then sure enough, the Frosty's there. He gets the Frosty. We come back out. My mom has the frickin' ovaries to tell me, oh, Jesus, you took forever in there. And I'm like, I would love to see your handicapped caboose try and do what we just did in the time that we just did. Okay? You were acting like we were in there for 2 hours. We did everything efficiently and quickly, and we got one little snag because of a stupid policy or rule or mechanism inside their friggin' cashier system. This ain't on us. All right? Disavow. April 15th, Tuesday, April 15th. Payday, tax day. I owed so much money for taxes. I can't even begin to describe the amount of money that I owed in taxes, and it boggles the mind. And it makes me want to get a degree in accounting so I never have to deal with paying that much again. Because I pay an accountant and a tax firm a lot of money, what I consider to be a lot of money, to do my taxes so I don't have to owe money, and I still owed so much money. And I have been unemployed for, it was 4 months out of the tax year, and I still owe money? God damn it. So I owed like over $1,000 for federal tax and more than $200 for New Jersey state tax. And that doesn't feel right. It feels like if you are unemployed, you should not have to pay. Like, you don't have income, so you shouldn't have to pay taxes. That's just the logic that I have. Call me crazy, call me maybe, but that just feels like how that should work. Tuesday was a tough time for my brother-in-law and for my sister's family. His coworker, his work mom, unfortunately had a heart attack and passed away, which was tough. I've never had a work mom. I know that. You could maybe consider one person a work wife. I don't like using those terms. I don't like using work mom, work wife, whatever, but I can see how this is considering the relationship, considering knowing about his history, her history, and how they got along in their relationship. Yeah, this is a work mom situation. So yeah, she had smoker, heavy smoker. I think that plays a lot into it. And what is really tough to take is that she was admitted to the ER where they work and refused. I think she refused to be seen by anyone other than my brother-in-law. So she was like, basically, think about the like when someone has a heart attack, time is of the essence, dude. It's like you gotta move quick and gotta make sure things are happening quickly. And so for her to say, no, I will wait for him to get here, that means like he's gotta get there quick, but she doesn't live that close to it. And so there's that time that went into it. And then there's the fact that they brought in a cardiologist, and the cardiologist, according to sources, was kind of a dick and didn't really move as fast, as quick as everyone would have liked. And so you could run it back in your head 1,000 times. Like, if she would just be willing and open to see someone else other than my brother-in-law, and because my brother-in-law is an ER doc, if the cardiologist just had a little more motivation, inspiration, just like dedication to seeing it through, then maybe she would be alive right now. But so that kind of cast a pall over the week. I think my brother-in-law, he took it very hard, and rightfully so. I mean, this is someone that he was very close to, that he worked with for a long time. And so, I'm not particularly good in those situations. When I saw him, I just said, hey, I'm sorry. And, just know that, I'm here. I mean, that's all you can really do, right? And so what compounded the situation is that same day, that same night, my niece had been experiencing really awful coughing, like to the point where she's like almost vomiting, she's almost passing out, like serious coughing. I've had bouts, but I've never gotten to the point where it's like I'm blacking out because I'm coughing so hard. So she had a wicked cough for a very long time, was throwing up because of it, and so she ended up going to the same ER and had an X-ray, and looks like she has scoliosis. And I can see from the X-ray, like, there's definitely a curve and a bend in the spine. So she had some mucus in her bronchial section. So she did antibiotics and steroids. My brother-in-law thought that possibly due to allergies that are blood, because April is like paramount peak allergy season. My brother-in-law said that most likely from the allergies, the blood cell count is elevated and there's no infection anywhere. But it was confirmed that she has scoliosis. So apparently, my mom revealed that it's something that runs in the family, at least on my mom's side, where my mom sort of has it, my grandmother sort of had it. So just really unfortunate. It's like, so she's been going to the chiropractor a lot and getting that kind of worked out. But I guess that would explain a lot. But it's I think she, handled it about as well as a 11 or 12-year-old can handle it. And, just got to work at it and not let it take you down, not let it define you, and just power through it, So I don't know. I sense every time I'm FaceTiming with my sister or my mother, and I just feel for her, because I think she's in not just physical discomfort, but I think there's like a lot of emotional, mental. I can see it, and I can sense it, because I think I never had scoliosis, but like I feel like I went through a similar kind of phase when I was that age. And what sucks is like, well, I'm not there physically to like help her through it day to day. But it definitely feels like I could offer I could offer something there. So I don't know. So that was it. That's a double whammy right there. That's like, so that was like the day 2 of being down there. The next day, my sister, brother-in-law, and my niece went over to the nurse's house where, the nurse that had passed away, the work mom, just to check in, see if there's anything they could help out with or offer. And so I was responsible for watching the other kids. So that's my oldest nephew, youngest nephew, my daughter, along with, I don't think my mom made the trip over. So it was 3 kids, just got to figure out dinner. Just got to get something in their belly that is, sort of considered to be dinner, like sort of nutritious, like not completely sugar or fat, like let's mix in some kind of nutrition. So I made them dinner. I think I did mac and cheese, but like this is where, we just had Father's Day and people are like, happy Father's Day. It's like, you're doing a great father, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, I can't imagine being a single dad for 3 kids or 4 kids or even 2 kids. I cannot imagine it, because it's like I feel like I've gotten to a good level or rhythm with the one kid, and it's like I feel like I can, I could figure it out. I've calibrated and I can adjust, and I've got it pretty much figured out. 3 kids, it's like when I have one kid figured out, the other kid's hanging off a chandelier. The other kid is in a closet, locked in a closet somehow, like trapped under some kind of device. Like I don't know how my sister does it for most of the time, but it truly is one of the most challenging things, because it's like I can tell 2 of the 3, I'm like, dinner, I am making dinner. And by my estimate, dinner will be ready in 10 minutes. Unfortunately, I think they still can't grasp time. So it's like, can you just 10 minutes, like count to 60, that's 1 minute, do it 10 times and dinner will be ready. The youngest nephew, like absolutely zero concept of time, and is like 10 minutes is basically 10 years. And so, and he's sneaky as hell. So like I'm cooking dinner and I can see him sneaking to like where the lollipops are, going to the snack closet, going up here, going under here, like going in this drawer and just grabbing stuff and like eating and just scattering and scampering away. And shoveling stuff in his face, and I don't even know what the fuck it is. So it's like, by the time dinner's ready, it's like, well, you've all managed to abscond with some kind of snackery or dessert or treat that you probably should not be having. But here's your dinner that no one's going to touch because you're all full now, because it took 10 minutes to make dinner. Friggin' mac and cheese with chicken nugs. So yeah, when the cavalry came back, we ended up smoking some cigars, drinking some keg beer, hell yeah, playing some darts, hell yeah. That's my nirvana. That's my heaven. It's just smoking cigars, drinking beers, maybe an Eddie, playing darts, watching YouTube videos of recorded live concert performances from Limp Bizkit. And I know what you're going to say, Limp Bizkit, how dare you? I dare you to put on Limp Bizkit performance at Lollapalooza or Coachella and not just get whisked away. Actively try not to get carried in that current of Limp Bizkit, dude. I failed to realize, and this will point out how not into music or how music ignorant I am. I didn't realize that one of the guitarists for Limp Bizkit, Wes Borland, is widely considered one of the best guitarists of all time. And once you hear that, and then once you see it in action, you start actually focusing in on it and paying attention. You're like, fuck, dude, this guy's amazing and he's awesome. He's playing with Limp Bizkit, who, I mean, let's be honest, often repeatedly gets shat upon, and maybe undeservedly so. But you also have to think, like, what if they did not have Wes Borland? What kind of band they would be? So it was like a nice Limp Bizkit appreciation night in the barn, as we call it, which is like the massive garage with like the boats and the cars and the whatnots. So it was a good time. It was fun. And it's also fun to see when someone finds something out for the first time that you've known for a very long time. My sister just realized that Will Ferrell looks like the drummer from Red Hot Chili Peppers. I think his name is Chad Smith or something like that. Like the fact that they look almost identical, doppelgangers. And she had never known that. And I had known it for so long. And then she was like, oh my God, is that Will Ferrell? And I was like, well, let me tell you. Let me go down this rabbit hole. And then you go down to, like, you show them on their late night with Conan appearance and just, yeah. So I think, yeah, I could tell my brother-in-law was still, I mean, and it makes sense, like deeply affected by losing his work mom, the nurse that he worked with for so long. And so I think that, that was tough for him, but he still, was trying his best to have fun. And I know that the Limp Bizkit definitely was a little cathartic and helped. For my age and for our age, we're all in our early to late 30s, early 40s, mid 40s. Right? To travel back to that era in your head is nice when it's like, well, I didn't have all this crushing responsibility and I really could just enjoy a beverage and games. So Thursday was an active day trying to get stuff set up for the fishing trip. So we drove the boat to the dock. We then took the boat to the Friends dock in North Carolina, then took the Friends truck to dinner at a place called Joe's Bar and Grill. I was seated next to, it was my sister, my brother-in-law, my brother-in-law's friend, wife, brother, wife, friend, wife. So it was probably like, eight people, 8 or 10 people. And my oldest nephew. So my oldest nephew is 8. He's the only kid at the table. And I think this was like, we're popping cherries at this point. Like, this is a first timer. Like, being the only kid at an all adults table. And let me tell you, the adults did not hold back. So that was an eye opener for my oldest nephew. And he definitely felt very out of his element, understandably so. It's like, holy crap, like, what's going on here? I'm at the adults table. But I like that I was able to be his, I was his Sherpa. I was his guide. I helped him through it. I was just like, I'm going to check in. I'm going to seem like this is completely normal, even though he probably felt this was like the weirdest thing ever, and helped him through it. That was, it was a smorgasbord of stuff, dude. There was so much food, so much seafood, all of it pretty awesome. But yeah, that's a great place. Joe's Bar and Grill. We were upstairs. I don't even remember the drinks that I had. Maybe I could look it up. I always do this. I never look it up before, and I look it up during, and they never have the drinks on the menu online. It's wild that I can type in Joe's Bar and Grill, and it takes me to the exact place. Like, that's a pretty common name. I don't view the menu, dude. All right, so let me take a look here. Do we have the grouper bites? Crab cakes? We definitely had the scallops and bacon, dude. I don't think I had a salad. I may have had a house salad. I don't think I had any of this schniznit. I was tempted by the shrimp and grits. I do not think I got it. They had a lot of great shrimp type stuffs. I don't think I got the beef short rib. I definitely didn't get the chicken. Oh, and of course they don't have the drinks menu. Come on now. I hate that they can't do that. But was highly recommend it. Great place to eat, great place to drink, hang out. What was weird is like this is spring break, right? Mid-April, leading up to Easter, and it was prom season. Like it's hard for me to like wrap my head around like the difference in timing for the Northeast and the Southeast, at least for Jersey and South Carolina. Like prom in April. There's still a lot of school left after that. Like it feels like shit goes down at prom. Crazy, monumental, life-changing stuff happens at prom. But at least you have like maybe a couple more weeks that you have to deal with it. Like versus you have your prom during mid-April, you got like a month or more for the fallout. So that was weird seeing a lot of prom dates going on down there. Yeah, junior prom. I looked like a waiter. I looked like the waiters. In Fight Club, the Fight Club scene when they're at the fancy dinner and they're all wearing like white jackets with the black bow tie. That's basically what my junior prom outfit was. And sure enough, I got the old man's balls and a rubber band, almost cut it off, and he acquiesced. But we ended up going to the one kid's place afterwards. I decided to wear sweatpants and a t-shirt to the after party, like a real sloth, like a real vagabond. Just, dude, what are you doing? You couldn't have packed jeans. I heard sleepover. I thought pajamas, and I thought I don't have pajamas. I have sweatpants and a t-shirt, and that's what I thought. And didn't think that I would need to actually try and procure some kind of booze or alcohol. So my buddy, who was the left tackle on the football team at the time, had a sixer, and I offered to pay him way above market price for a beer. My date got caught smoking weed in my buddy's younger sister's room. I think that was a major storyline. And then when everyone went to sleep, I was like, now's my time to make a move like an idiot. So that was just chalk it up. It's just like one of many horrific decisions I've made. So yeah, that was Thursday. Then Friday, so Thursday we come back to the friend's place to sleep there. I think we got to sleep around 11 o'clock, and then we had to wake up at 4 or 5 in the morning because we want to make sure that we're out to the place, the perfect place, the fishing spot. Once the sun peeks out over the horizon, we have to be there. And so that means waking up at like 4 or 5 in the frickin' AM and getting out there. And sure enough, so we're up at 5. My God, I had to wait. I somehow squeezed into a pair of what looked like snow pants. If you're from the Northeast, it looks like something you would wear in snow pants, but I guess they are fishing pants in the Southeast, or at least like in fishing communities. So like a zip up with the straps and whatnot. And my boys, my undercarriage, very snug, very secure, lockdown, very tight to the body. We ended up seeing sea turtles, which I don't think I've seen sea turtles in a hot minute. I want to say a decade plus. Love me some sea turtles. And saw a dolphin, just trying to we got into like a little bit of a hot rod race, Fast and Furious style with a dolphin. That was pretty cool. Saw a freaking shark. come up out of the water, try and snag. I mean, we had a couple sharks that were snagging, taking our lines, taking our bait. I refused to pee off the end of the boat. Like it was me, my brother-in-law's two friends, one of which we were staying at his house, and my oldest nephew. I mean, lifetime I've gone fishing three times. I mean, I told the story about the last fishing trip I tried to go on where we almost died in the perfect storm. So it was a long day, and they had the spine and the intestinal fortitude and the testicular gravity to pee off the end of the boat. And I was like, I've seen Final Destination, dude. I know how this pans out. So I'm not going to go off the end of the boat. I'm going to go down in the bathroom, the tiny, cramped, very small bathroom, while the boat is rocking and rolling. And so the first time I went down there, I opened the door. The steps are very steep, very narrow, made for Oompa Loompas. I try to make my way down the stairs. The boat takes a hard rock, a hard roll, and I go head first into the opposite wall. Like, basically, if we're talking sports science, and you look at like the 3D imaging with like the X-ray vision, you can see my spine just crumple like an accordion. And so, took a header right into the wall of the bathroom. Definitely fucked up my spine. Jammed a finger, partially concussed, went in the blue tent. And I come out and my brother-in-law goes, well, there's an easier way to get down there. Like, you don't have to dive in. You don't have to go horizontal to use the bathroom. You can just use the steps. And I was like, hey, yeah. So that took a while to shake off. He's like, you good? I'm like, well, time will tell, my friend. I feel like time will tell. I ended up catching two fish. One was so small, and so I had to use it as bait. And the other, barely, by the hair on my chinny chin, by a stray cube, just met the minimal requirements. So, that's two more than I've ever caught before. So it's a win. When I have my contacts in, I consider myself to have fairly decent vision. We were heading back at like 4 or 5 p.m. towards the shore. So we were out at 5, coming back at 5. My brother-in-law starts turning away from the shore, like a hard right. And he's like looking. And I look over and I see like there's something in the water. And I'm like, what is about to happen? So he comes up closer. It's just wreckage. It's just a boat that is like sinking. You can see like the top of it sticking out of the water and the rest of it is slowly sinking. And God, the theories that were been thrown around on that boat, drug deal going wrong, murder plot, fraud, this is definitely related to a crime of some sort. And I guess when you have wreckage, that means fish. And ended up catching like 2 or 3 fish out of that little area where the wreckage was, which was pretty cool. But my God, the first few hours we spent, it was just what they call trolling, which is just like the rods are in the holes or whatever, and you're just letting the bait kind of skim the surface as you motor on by. And that didn't really do anything. And then did a little not deep sea fishing, but like bottom fishing with the weight and whatnot. I definitely got cut up on my fingers. My oldest nephew got cut up on the fingers. I was assed out for the first 2 hours, just like trying to get some Z's, trying to like figure out what's going on. And my brother-in-law's friend came up with a genius concept that I'm kicking myself for not knowing. He had a monster party-sized bag of Cape Cod chips, potato chips. And I want to say it was, I'm going to forget the name of the hot sauce. It stinks. Cholula? Was it Cholula? I think it was either Cholula, Tapatio, or Texas Pete. Yes, it was Texas Pete. Texas Pete on Cape Cod potato chips. It was Cape Cod, Texas. It was Boston, Austin, dude. It was, he would pour squirts of the Texas Pete in the big ass bag of Cape Cod chips and then shake it up. And then we'd eat it. And it was, God damn it. It took me to a place. I sailed away. Sail away, sail away, sail away. So that was awesome. And we didn't get back at my sister's home until 10:30 at night. And because we got back to my brother-in-law's friend's place at like, I'm gonna say 7:30. My brother-in-law's friend's wife got us Papa John's pizza, which we scarfed. And I was trying my damnedest to stay upright. I don't know if you are familiar with being on a boat for 12 hours, but once you come off that boat and you finally have gotten your sea legs on the boat, then you have to get your sea legs on land. And I was wobble, just wobbling constantly. I could not stop wobbling. I was swaying and moving and just could not get stationary. Could not sit still. It felt like I was still on the goddamn ocean. And that was made even worse when I got in the shower, because I was like, I gotta shower. I gotta clean off. I stink of fish. And get in the shower, even worse. It was just like, all right, whoever's manning the wheel, let's just pull back on the MPH a little bit. Let's pull back on the gas. Okay? I think I'm gonna fall down in the shower. And I sunburned the fuck out of my hands. Shocker. It's like, hands are like, that's the one area you're going to forget about, for sure. That's the one most overlooked place. It's like you put it in your palm of your hand, you put it all over your arm, your leg, and then you forget the back of the hand. And they're torched and scorched. And it's like, it looks like I was wearing gloves. It's just like, so, and then I had a night terror, which is just like the cherry on top. Like, hey, you've got some kind of like vertigo, wobbly, unstable type thing going on with your body where like you cannot just stand still or cannot stop swaying. We're gonna throw a little night terror and a sunburn in the mix. So I know my brother-in-law loves fishing. He's psyched about it. He loves going there. But for me, personally, on the real tip, I don't think I'll ever. He wants me to get into it so bad, and I cannot get into it. I cannot justify spending 12 hours out. I mean, like, listen, I like being out in the water. I like drinking. I like the sun. But there's a limit. There's a ceiling for everything. And I hit it big time. Like getting up early in the morning, not a fan. Getting back late. The amount of work and effort that you have to put into this. Like, he was a one-man show. I mean, it was dead weight in terms of like getting the boat into the water, then getting the boat back onto the trailer as other people are trying to like get their boats in the trailer and are waiting. When we got back and he's trying to do the one-man shtick, my oldest nephew, I'm like down further at the end of the dock. My oldest nephew's trying towards the, other end of the dock where the parking lot is. And I see this car pull up and this dude get out and he starts approaching my oldest nephew. And I'm like, we're about to have like a kidnapping situation. This is an abduction written all over it. And my brother-in-law is too busy like trying to get the boat on the trailer. So I kind of start walking up towards the guy, and he's walking. Now he's walking down towards me, and he's like, "Hey," and I'm like, "Hey, how's it going?" He's like, "How'd you do?" And I'm like, I caught this into that red snapper and a blah blah blah. Forget the names. He's like, oh. He's like, oh, that's cool. So like, oh, nice. And I don't know if it's just because I've been born and raised and lived mostly in the Northeast. That's crazy to me. That's crazy for a stranger to was leaving the parking lot, stopped, parked, opened the door with the car running to come down to talk to me about fishing. What? I mean, like, skeptic, cynic me thinks like, okay, this guy is like officially like on the FBI's most wanted list. He's definitely abducting children. He's definitely torturing them and keeping them in his basement. And like, I foiled his plan. That's where my brain goes. Probably not right, but that's what I thought. And it's like, no, he just wanted to talk about fishing. It's like, oh, red snapper, yeah. Oh man, you almost caught that. Wow. Where are you? Oh, you went here? Oh, you were out there? Oh, okay. Yeah, what kind of boat is this? I'm just like thinking, dude, it's like 9:30 at night, 9 o'clock at night. Why are we talking about this? What are you going to do with this information? So definitely threw me off. But apparently that's a normal thing in the South among fishermen. So yeah, then we had the next day on Saturday. My brother-in-law, my sister, my oldest niece went to the funeral. My brother-in-law comes back. He starts cleaning the boat, which that's a whole other thing. You got to clean the boat for like hours on end. And then there was my niece's birthday party. She turned 12, which is great. I got her. Listen to this. Just take a moment and listen to this listing of an item on Amazon. Okay. It's her birthday. I know she's into dragons. I got a list of things that she wants. It's all dragon stuff. I get it. Pacific Giftware Ann Stokes Alter Drake Frost Blue Mystic Dragon Statue Celtic Cross Lidded Box. Really rolls off the tongue. I mean, like, let's just tighten it up a little bit. let's just shorten it a little bit. But it's just like a box that has a dragon on it and it has a cross. And I thought that would be cool to keep like whatever kind of knickknacks, paddywhacks she's got going on in her room of hers, her lair, and then an official Wings of Fire coloring book, which I feel like there was a time where like dragons are the new horses for girls, for tween girls. Like when my sister was that age, and I assume when my mother was that age, it was like horses. Like they love to ride horses, look at horses. There's something. Listen, I know. My head goes there too. If you're that kind of guy like me, there's something about horses that girls love, and we can get into that in another episode. But I think dragons are the new horses. Like my ex-girlfriend's daughter, super into dragons. My niece, same age, around 11 or 12, super into dragons. So there's something. It's almost like it's like the anime for young males. Certain anime, wink wink, and comic books for young males is like what dragons are to the tween girls. So I get it, man. Hey, you do you. Got to get it out somehow. Got to get the bad thoughts out somehow. And then we ended up watching Lion King Mufasa, or the Mufasa movie from Lion King, which I guess is a prequel. And man, not really a fan. It was just like the whole time. Spoiler alert, the whole time, the one guy, you're like, that's Scar. Like within 5-10 minutes, 15 minutes, I was like, oh, that's Scar. And they even have like Seth Rogen's character and Billy whatever his character, a marmot prairie dog and the fucking boar. They're just constantly like, so that's Scar, right? That's Scar. And at the end, it's like, it's Scar. And it's like, no shit. But I get it. It's not for adults. I get it. But at the same time, can we at least try a little harder? It feels like that was just a little lackadaisical. It's like, we know that the adults think it's Scar and we're saying it's Scar, but like the kids, I guess, might have had some questions about it. I don't know. Not a horrible movie, but just like, do we need this movie? I don't know that we need this movie. So had the Easter egg hunt Easter morning. Got to find that golden egg, even though it's, I mean, kids, hate to break it to you, not real gold. they I get it. When you're that age, when you're a kid, you're just like, anything that is golden is like, yeah, precious. And turns into friggin' Gollum? Lords of Rings? It is so late. I'm so tired. So there was definitely some conflict, some tears, some breakdowns, some meltdowns over the golden egg. And I'm here to tell you guys, you've been fed lies. This golden egg, not worth more than the other eggs. So yeah. I'm not going to do the WrestleMania breakdown. And I'm not going to do the pickled flavored shit. I'm not going to do any of this. Because it's over, dude. It's over. We've come to the end. So that was the trip down to South Carolina. Always enjoy it down there. And looking forward to the trip in August. I know there are a few things that are always true in life. They say death, taxes, and my mom having way too much shit in everywhere. Just like full on hoarder, and her not being able to tell me where things are. Just using words to describe where things are. And then me trying desperately to find the thing that she's looking for. Her getting upset because she can't get up and just get it herself. Her getting upset that she cannot describe where the thing is. Me getting upset at her for getting upset. So we ended on a great note. Yeah. So we gotta figure out how to declutter. The joy of decluttering needs to arrive down at the mother-in-law suite in South Carolina. And also her drawers. You open her drawers and it sounds like a banshee screaming from the hilltops. Just like, oh, it's a full moon and it's Halloween and here come the banshees. That's what the drawers sound like. And the fact that hasn't been worked out yet, that's like priority number one. And it's a guarantee. So death, taxes, loud drawers, inability to describe where things are because everything's a mess and all over the place. And then also, and I forgot the last thing. So that's it. That's the episode. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And coming up next, my goodness gracious, we have May 2025 to recap and review. We've got in the Metros. My God, this has become like, you know how Jimmy Kimmel has that bit with Matt Damon where he's like, and my apologies to Matt Damon, we ran out of time. That is what's happening with the Mets. Me thinking I'm going to talk about the Mets. And honestly, I'm at the point now where I feel like maybe I shouldn't talk about the Mets because they're doing really well. And I feel like the moment I do talk about them, that's when the collapse happens. So maybe I should abstain. Can I just say LGM? Great, LGM. All right, that's it. Talk to you next time. Adios, muchachos.